In its drive towards mobilizing action for social impact endeavors, the Lagos State government has flagged off its SDGs Impact Challenge for non-governmental organizations to come up with projects that target the 17 global SDG goals. Speaking at the flag-off ceremony, the Special Advisor to the Governor on Sustainable Development Goals and Investments, Shalakwe Hammond, says the grant competition is designed to award a sum of 5 million naira each to 3 winning ideas that target each of the Sustainable Development Goals.
The 2023 Agenda for Sustainable Development, adopted by all United Nations member states in 2015, provides a shared blueprint for peace and prosperity for the people and the planet, now and into the future.
In accomplishing the goals and objectives of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, all selected project ideas will be awarded a 5 million naira grant prize for project execution.
Lagos State is racing to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by flagging off its SDGs Impact Challenge to support non-governmental and civil society organizations, as well as other social impact ventures, with grants to execute 51 projects that target the 17 global SDGs across the state.
On the 10th of June this year, the Ministry of Economic Planning and Budget, the department that deals with partnerships, that works very closely with us, held an NGO summit together with us, where we had a lot of NGOs to hear from them what their challenges were. And it was sort of a precursor to this event that we're doing today. And I remember at that summit, there had been a mention that the NGOs didn't have enough contact with the government. Now, how many people here tell us true, really kind of avoid government most of the time? Don't be afraid to put your hands up. I know we all, yes, thank you. When I was in private sector, I kind of avoided government because I really thought government taxes, and so a lot of people a lot of organizations are not really very close to government. But those who have that experience understand why it's important. We're not all bad. There's a lot that's good that comes from working with the government. And at that event, they made that, they mentioned that, they basically don't know a lot of the great things that are happening in Lagos. And one commitment we made to them at that event was, we will create a directory for NGOs to register with Lagos, to let us know the things that they do so that we can send them information that is relevant to them. Let them know what the programs are that are happening all over the Lagos State government, and even in other, it could be things that development partners are doing, private sector is doing, and that we will share that information with them, and we committed to creating that platform before the end of the year.
The state government is not alone on this journey. One of its partners gives a breakdown of the Impact Challenge, the selection criteria, and the implementation strategies for those who emerge winners.
We have a couple of key and vital objectives that we'll try to accomplish. Number one is to mainstream the SDGs. We want to see how we can amplify the impact of key actors in the space. We want to crowdsource innovative ideas that can lead to measurable impact. And the key word there is measurable. We don't just want people to do anything. We want to see the numbers. I was particularly delighted when I saw Timmy's numbers. She was showing the 300s, the 400s, and all of that. That's one of the things we want to do. Crowdsource innovative ideas that can lead to measurable impact on the SDGs. We want to encourage civic participation in diverse class of constituents, increase the number of active volunteers in Lagos. There are many things happening in Lagos, and we need more hands to be on deck to see that we all are part of developing and growing the city that we all live in. And finally, we want to see that we enable greater visibility for all the activities of CSOs and NGOs, the ones they call impact makers in Lagos State. The truth is this: many people are doing a lot, but they are not visible. This challenge, and then the NGO directory that we have just launched, will bring about the visibility. And that's what we are doing here. So let's talk about a little more technical things. How are we running through this application? There'll be some pre-eligibility screening. At this point, you saw the video already, you run through the LSVC website. And at that point, we check to find out that you have met the baseline criteria. Afterward, we'll do some competence screening. And I'll amplify on the competence screening a little bit more when I'll talk about the Amakas, the Edwards, the Emmanuels, and the Mohammeds, and what role the private sector and all of the development sector has to play in helping us ensure that we appoint and we award grants to the people who really deserve it. At the end of the time, we will eventually select projects.
The Social Policy and Program Manager of UNICEF, who is also in attendance, commends the state government for coming up with such an initiative and emphasizes the need for NGOs and applicants to prioritize data to drive change in Lagos State.
This is quite innovative, this is quite creative, and I think this is also some high level of empowerment that you're giving the people who should be there where you cannot get to reach to those vulnerable groups and ensure that all these goals are met. Of course, I should have a little bias being from UNICEF because our bias is for women and children. But of course, we know how linked all the SDG goals are. So for us as members of the United Nations, we see that what you are doing today, bringing in experts. I've heard all of you speak, and honestly, I was just listening and taking notes because of the great things you do here. And I've been informed that you are going to have 3 grants for each of these goals. And these grants are going to experts who I'm sure are as good as you that I've listened to. They're going to have 3 grants for each of them addressing these goals in Lagos. I just can't imagine the quantum leap. I can just imagine what we are going to achieve and what lessons we'll be selling to others, not just in Nigeria, but every other place.
Winners will be announced on December 16th. Each project is expected to advance the achievement of the SDGs in a particular community by addressing climate change, hunger, and other socio-economic deficiencies in Lagos State.